A word of caution. This content is gay, so if you have a problem with two guys or two girls kissing each other, I suggest you leave. Alright? Good. Before we begin, I just want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Cody Smith, Race Finnegan, and Dane Moffat for being wonderful Patreon supporters. They're spending more than $1 a month, and that means a lot to the growth of this channel. If you want to support me or get huge shoutouts like this, feel free to drop by my Patreon. Even a single $1 a month helps the channel. The $1 patrons will be included at the end of this video. Again, thank you guys for the love and support. Let's get this video to 1,000 likes, just so that I can know that you guys are interested in this video. It would really be appreciated if I could continue this series because I love this series so much. And it really means a lot to me that you guys support me and the channel like this. It's surreal. I cannot thank you enough. So thank you guys again. Now, let us get back to the video. Hello guys, and welcome back to Chess of Blades. It's been a while since I went back to this, so let's just hop on right into it. Hopefully I still have the file. 1427, 1443. This one seems later. My eyes fluttered closed, and in blackness that follows, images from today and last night replay themselves. Blemish my father's name. Ha! I'll find this culprit, and I'll show Valora and father that I can live in this cutthroat world as well as they can. And then I'll take a nice, long nap. I can't do a snoring sound, sorry. So chilly. Where's the blanket? My eyes still closed, I fumbled around for the covers hazily. Wait a moment, I'm not under any blankets. Where are my damn blankets? I abruptly forced myself upright, glancing around in confusion. Outside my window, the sky is dark. Bloody hell, I must have fallen asleep after I came back from the festival. Shit! Pushing off the bed, I hastily smoothed my clothes and hair out, shaking my head to clear the residual drowsiness. I hope I'm not too late for that meeting. To be fair, they did say tonight without any indication of time, so they'd better still be there.
God bless my narcoleptic soul.
God bless my narcoleptic soul. That is something I will use every day from now on. After making sure I look at least mostly presentable, I slip out into the corridor, closing my door behind me with a soft click. It's almost eerily quiet, leading me to believe most everyone's already retired to their rooms. I've been so used to hearing the corridors filled with chatter streaming in from the main hall that the silence makes me a little uneasy. My footsteps echo back to me in an ominous rhythm, and I start to unthinkingly hold my breath as I walk along. Sorry, that put me to a doozy for a minute.
Someone's up late. Heading to a midnight meeting with your secret lover.
Excuse me, who is this? The voice of a girl passing by makes me nearly jump out of my skin. I can't even see where she is in the thick darkness, but the voice doesn't resemble anyone I know. She seems to be chewing on something though, and it smells like one of those delicious cakes I had at the festival earlier.
Are you going to play with some mysterious man? You should be careful. Everyone has so many hidden secrets.
Whoever did the voice acting for this is a fucking genius. Like, this is so good. The chewing, it reminds me of Dodger.
Yes, well, have a pleasant evening.
Sure thing! With a flustered bow to the unseen maiden, I turn and sprint in the opposite direction, clenching my teeth together. Probably just some drunk noble girl returning to her room, but being reminded of secrets makes my mood immediately darken. She's not wrong. Franz is probably keeping more secrets from me than I can count. Before long, I arrive at the grand staircase leading into the main hall. I feel like I'm choking on something, sorry guys. This place too is completely silent and pervaded by a thick darkness, to the point where it's practically unrecognizable from its glowing beauty during the day. I know it's silly to be so put on edge by the different atmosphere, but I'm ruffled enough from this whole walk into a potential trap business that I think I'm allowed to be a bit of a scaredy cat.
Any ghosts listening, speak now or forever hold your peace.
I love Rivian, oh my god. Jokes when he's stressed. Goosebumps break out on my skin as I descend the stairs and trot towards the side corridor Emily told me about earlier, glancing over my shoulder now and then at the various noises of the night. Let's just hope no one follows me down here. I'm not sure what would be worse, being shanked in the back, or being called out for acting like a boy without his teddy bear. Whoa, why are we in a dungeon? Inside this dark hall, I wind my way past various rooms, all of them clearly more functional and less ornate than the guests' chambers upstairs. I peek into a number of them to try and spot the portrait that was mentioned in the note, but I can't seem to find it. I huff to myself and anxiously comb through more and more of the seemingly endless rooms, losing my way for a good few minutes. A good sense of direction never was one of my strong suits. Couldn't they have at least drawn me a map on the back of this damn note?
Ah, is this the place?
At last, while walking past an open door, I notice a large and eye-catching painting inside the room. The pompous crown certainly gives it away, so this must be the one. Holding my breath, I tentatively step into the chamber, my eyes darting around to catch any trace of movement. It seems surprisingly empty, however, save for a plethora of crates and boxes.
Hello? Anyone else here for a late-night rendezvous?
That sounds really sleazy. When no reply immediately comes, my heart falls in my chest. Am I too late? Did I miss my chance to finally glean some information?
Oh. You're here.
I unconsciously yelp and jump around to face the source of the voice, which stems from a shadowy corner. Oh, it's her! I fucking knew it! It's this bitch. My gaze falls on a slender girl sitting on the ground who pushes herself up to her feet as she watches me with a frown.
Celeste? You wrote this note?
Of course I did. Next time, though, could you not make me wait further, please? I fell asleep on the cold floor, you know.
As if her comment was expected to inspire some deep sympathy or guilt inside me, Celeste pouts, shivering theatrically.
Well, bring a blanket next time then, and be more specific with your cryptic notes.
I can't help but feel a little disappointed and annoyed. This girl, surely she can't have any real information about what's going on. Don't judge a book by its cover, Rivian. We only met briefly, but she seemed a bit, well, airheaded.
How horrible you are. And here I was, trying to help you. I only met you once, but you made my heart flutter enough that I wanted to warn you.
Warn me? Warn me about what exactly? The upcoming fashion trends
Riv.
or latest hairstyles, perhaps?
Riv! Celeste sighs heavily, shaking her head. Then after a hesitating moment, she steps a little closer, motioning for me to lean down. I reluctantly comply, tilting my head to let her quietly speak into my ear.
I didn't tell you this before, but my father's an ambassador, you know. He knows lots about what's happening, especially because he's good friends with your Inquisitor.
I like her character. For some reason, I don't know. I blink, my nose wrinkling at the mention of Linnaeus. More importantly, though, does that mean Celeste is aware of what happened yesterday?
My father survived several sabotage attempts from a cult called the Disciples of Ignatius. And he thinks they killed the Peruvian ambassador to stop the alliance talks going on.
Alliance talks? Don't tell me there's been some sort of secret meeting going on behind all this.
Of course, Papa said the party was a ruse, to get ambassadors and nobles from a few countries together to feel out a partnership. It's ruined now, obviously. Matters do tend to do that.
Now that I think about it, what Celeste says makes sense. It's not a coincidence, then, that people with important positions like Linnaeus and Valora are here. Speaking of Valora, she must have known about the talks, not to mention the purpose of the whole party. I wonder what her role in all this is.
I'm still confused as to how you're involved, though. Do you just eavesdrop on your father's business all day?
Celeste gives me a hurt look for a moment, but then her expression turns a little serious.
Actually, I saw the murderers last night.
Fuck. We gasped at the same time, sorry. I stare at her intently, trying to see if she's playing around or obviously lying, but the girl seems completely
I
honest.
was walking out for a bit of fresh air after dinner, when suddenly I spotted two figures crouching in the bushes. I couldn't make out who they were, only that one was big and wearing something unusually bulky, and the other was much smaller. They didn't notice me, thankfully, because they were talking to each other. I saw you too, walking on the other side of the bushes. Didn't you hear them at all?
I can feel the blood draining from my face a little as Celeste recounts her story. Those people whispering, I did hear them right before I encountered Arden, didn't I?
How'd you know they were murderers? Some shady whispers don't mean they're criminals.
Well, when I started suspecting that something was happening, I hid in the bushes myself. That was when the ambassador came outside. He must have been tricked by one of them because he was completely alone. He headed deeper into the gardens, past where you'd been standing. And when I looked back to the figures, they had disappeared. I had a bad feeling about it, so I went to tell one of the guards.
Who's the voice actor for Celeste? She's really good.
Dead soon after.
Girl. You're okay in my book. An unsettled expression comes across Celeste's face as she lowers her gaze, although something about her personality tells me she's probably familiar with such grisly things, considering her father's important position.
The murderers didn't see you then? Do you think you're safe?
I'm quite sure I am, but I know they noticed you, Rivian. They stopped whispering when you came close, and they watched you after your cute friend walked up. It's a good thing he found you, honestly. Either way, I think they suspect you saw them, or at least know about them. And one of the new friends I met here told me he accidentally involved you in things last night.
It's the blue-haired boy. What was his name? Alistair? I swallow, feeling small beads of perspiration curl along my hairline. I feel like it's the maid. God, it's either the maid or probably Valora. But I doubt it's Valora. I don't see any prospect for that. She's too loyal to Rivian's father. Franz's guess may have been right. Perhaps they're looking for me after all.
Your new friend, eh? Are you talking about that bratty, stammering boy, Alistair?
Don't talk about him like that. He's such a darling little thing. Although, he's keeping some kind of secret, I think. He got all nervous when I asked him some questions, and stammered something about protecting someone.
Same here. Well, that sounds familiar. That boy definitely has more information that I need, but I just have to find some way to get it out of him.
Anyway, I just wanted to tell you to be careful. If the disciples are behind this, they won't want to leave behind anyone who can know their identities. You could be in real danger.
Ah, that's just lovely. Well, Celeste, you best watch out for yourself too. You might have been spotted as well, and it seems like you saw much more than I did.
She lets out a little giggle, shaking her head confidently. I'm really starting to doubt whether she takes all this seriously enough. Life or death matters should not induce giggling.
I can take care of myself. Besides,
Oh, fuck.
Get down!
When an urgent yell suddenly cuts through the air, I instinctively grab Celeste and pull her down to the floor. A split second later, a large crossbow bolt thunks into the wall just behind us. With my heart nearly exploding my chest, my eyes shoot up to the doorway. There, a heavily armored figure stands with a crossbow pointed directly at us. Is that... No, it can't be! A god? The guard grunts in disgust and throws the crossbow to one side, pulling out a blade from a scabbard at his side. Inside, I knew it! It's this guard! Too. His focus, however, doesn't seem to be on us anymore. Instead, he turns to the side, suddenly raising his sword defensively. Hold on, I need to save this. This is getting epic music. Ooh! Lord. Override save? Yes. I wish there was a quick save, actually. Who guards it? Franz? A loud clang resounds through the air, and the god staggers back into the room. The figure who follows after him with long strides is...
Franz!
Franz! Before I can even stop myself, I call out Franz's name anxiously. He approaches the god with an aggressive stance, a piercing, focused look in his eyes. Hold on, that is a sexy look. I'm keeping it. Go fuck yourselves, guys. He approaches the god with an aggressive... Celeste backs into a corner, staring at Franz with wide eyes. She looks like she recognizes him. Well, she would, wouldn't she? Silas said Franz was watching her at the party. Bah, this is no time to think about that. The god, who's just as tall as Franz and maybe even a little broader, brings his sword down in a savage cut. But Franz darts back, moving surprisingly quickly. Then, as the god recovers, Franz dashes back in, swiping at the man's exposed neck. Dual wield! Yes, please! Barely managing to block in time, the god uses his bulky strength to savagely chop forward. Only to be parried with a fast sideswipe from Franz's dagger. It's clear that Franz is the quicker man, but he's got none of the god's armor and his blades won't pierce anywhere but weak spots.
I can dance all night, you know. Better give up while you can or we'll bore our lovely audience.
They trade blows back and forth at increasing speed. The god's movements resembling a field soldier, while Franz looks like a court-trained fencer, elegant and swift. Desperately looking around for a way to help, my eyes fall upon a heavy-looking candlestick lying nearby. I grab a hold of it with both hands, hefting its sturdy weight, then focus my gaze on the god's back.
Take this, you fat metal can!
With all my strength, I hurl the candlestick towards the armored man. You know, this is good! The fact that the protagonist, instead of just watching the fight, puts himself into action. Like, it's not a damsel in distress shit. It slams into his flank with an awful mix of a thud and a clang, sending him staggering off balance. All this guy knows is grunt. Franz doesn't hesitate for a moment, dashing forward to plant his boot into the god's knees. Sure enough, our attacker goes tumbling to the floor, landing headfirst against a heavy crate.
That's got to hurt a little.
I can't help but wince as the god's head lolls to one side, the fall likely knocking him completely unconscious. Oh, what are you pouting for? After sheathing his two blades in the scabbards attached to his belt, Franz lowers down onto one knee in front of the man's limp form, yanking his helmet off. Do we know this person? The god's revealed face resembles that of a mercenary more than anything, with a savage scar across one eye, a broken-looking nose, and lips permanently curled into a cruel expression.
Why did a god attack us? Are we wanted criminals?
Celeste's trembling voice comes from where she'd still huddled in the corner, biting her lip nervously. I'm a little shaken up too, although an unusual sense of exhilaration permeates me as much as anything else.
I'd wager that this is no god. He's a wolf in sheep's clothing, using the armor to try and hide his identity.
Ooh, that's a scowl.
I'm sure Glasses will love to have a little chat with him in the dungeons. I almost feel sorry for this poor fool.
I studied the god's shape curiously, my mind flitting to the words Celeste was telling me just minutes ago.
Celeste, could this man be one of the figures you saw last night in the bushes?
She blinks at my words, cautiously examining the unconscious man while stepping closer.
I think he's the same one. If he was wearing that armor, then that explains why he looks so bulky.
It seems he wanted to get rid of both of you at once. I bet he was afraid you were getting close to figuring things out.
I breathe a silent sigh of relief at knowing our attacker will be safely locked up for now. yet a sense of uneasiness continues to tingle down my spine.
But Celeste saw 2 people together last night. There must still be another murderer out there. One clever enough to not get so easily caught like this bastard.
A grim silence follows my words, along with a foreboding cloud that weighs heavily in the air. Hold on, let me save. As much as I love all this, I need to save. Rather than feeling safe, I can't help but dread the idea that the second murderer is going to target us even more, now that we've captured their co-conspirator. After a few long tense moments, Franz finally pulls himself back up to his feet, grabbing the god beneath his arms.
Let's go leave this unpleasant fellow in Sir Four Eyes' tender care, shall we?
Hold on a moment. I want to know why you're spying on Rivian and me first.
Celeste, who appears to have regathered her composure somewhat, trains an accusing glare on Franz. I can trust him. He's my bodyguard. Clearing my throat, I offer Celeste a reassuring grin.
Actually, Franz here is my unofficial
He guards
bodyguard.
my body, alright.
With all the unpleasant murder business going on,
I got an achievement,
I thought it'd be
guys. He
best to have
guards my
someone at
body,
my
alright.
side.
Franz looks a little surprised by my response, shooting me a curious look. Oh! I'm sorry, whoever drew Franz is giving me shivers. It doesn't take long, though, for his eyes seem to light up warmly. He nods in agreement, bowing a little to emphasize his statement.
It's as he says, my lady. I have to keep a close watch on him at all times so that he doesn't accidentally get his pretty head lopped off.
That may be true, but... Still, you look awfully familiar. I could have sworn I'd seen you somewhere else before.
As Celeste studies Franz suspiciously, I realize she doesn't fully recognize his identity. But if she's an ambassador's daughter, and he's part of the Peruvian royal family, they probably encountered each other before at some diplomatic event.
I think you may be mistaken, miss. I'm merely a common chivalrous rogue, dedicated to rescuing such damsels in distress as you two.
Franz ignores my burning glare and just grins wolfishly instead. Although she still looks doubtful, Celeste huffs a little and shrugs her shoulders, adjusting her hair with one hand.
Well, I'll let you two deal with him. Papa's probably word sick about me, so I'd better get back to our family suite.
Could we walk you? Because I don't trust anywhere here. She pauses, glancing over towards me with her lips pursed slightly in concern.
Be careful, Rivian. I'm going to lay low until after the party's over, and you should probably do the same. And make sure not to trust just anyone.
Celeste shoots a look over towards Franz, a delicate frown on her pale features, before she shakes her head and hurries towards the door. She disappears around the corner, and within a few seconds her lightly pattering footsteps fade into silence. Franz and I are left alone in the storage room. Well, save for the unconscious man snoring in Franz's grip. Damn it.
Well, let's get back to the hall, shall we? Best get our sleeping beauty here safely locked away before he wakes up, after all.
You're right. Grab his other arm. We'll make quicker progress with the two of us hauling him along. Unless you'd rather just walk ahead of me and provide a nice view, of course.
I will do both. I take a hold of the so-called god's arm, and together with Franz we drag his body into the hallway. He's heavy enough that I doubt I could lift him myself, but Franz seems completely unstrained. We bring him into the main hall, where Franz finds the nearest actual god patrolling outside the window, calling him inside and explaining to him what happened. The god, who seems a little shaken and embarrassed, confirms that the man is an imposter. He agrees to take the man to the holding cells and call Linnaeus to question him, apologizing profusely for not recognizing something funny about his false compatriot sooner. With our murderous cargo safely delivered, Franz and I leave the guard's company and head upstairs, a slightly uncomfortable silence hanging between us as we return to our upper halls. A burning question weighs on my mind while we walk, so I decide to bring it up rather bluntly.
I heard that you were showing a lot of interest in Celeste during the celebration. You know her?
Trying to sound as casual as possible, I glance in Franz's direction. He shoots a quick look towards me, his eyes widening briefly in surprise before his brow furrows slightly.
I know who her father is, and I'm not fond of him. I suspected she'd be involved in whatever unpleasant business was going to happen, but I thought she'd be a participant rather than a target. I still don't trust her, but I doubt she'll pose much of a problem. Besides, I think she likes you too much to want you killed.
Aw, are you jealous, Franz? Is it my imagination, or does he sound a little annoyed? Did both of us get the impression that the other had taken a liking to Celeste? Well, no matter. I feel a little relieved knowing the truth, even though I shouldn't care about it one way or another. With Franz still walking at my side, I head in the direction of my room, expecting him to break off at some point to say he's going to his own chambers. And then I remember our rooms are right next to each other. I'm starting to wonder if he didn't plan that all along somehow. We reach our respective doors before long, and I move towards mine, clearing my throat pointedly.
Well, I should thank you again for what you did tonight. I do wish you'd be a little less sneaky about following me, though.
Franz stops next to me, gazing down into my eyes with an intense glimmer in his own emerald orbs.
You'd rather me follow you openly, then? Should I attach myself to you and keep you trapped forever in my arms?
Yes, please. Yes.
No, I really wasn't implying...
Oh? The larger male suddenly steps in closer, pulling me into his arms and pressing up against me until our chests are flushed together. His heavy weight pins me back against the wall and makes it so that I can do little but squirm futilely in his grip, feeling much like a mouse caught in a cat's paws.
This is the third time. I swear, I'm going to report you to the guards for harassment.
I growl in annoyance, but the fear and anger that filled me during our meeting is difficult to muster this time around. One of Franz's arms curls itself around my waist while his fingers press behind my head and run through my hair, grabbing a rough handful.
But it's so hard to keep my hands off you, kitten. Your innocence and fire are like a drug I just can't get enough of.
He presses closer, leaning in towards my neck. Okay, calm down. The hand at my hair pulls my head back slightly, closing my throat, where Franz presses his lips to my skin hotly, letting out the warm exhale that rolls off my flesh. The sensation causes a sweet shiver to course down my spine, and my breath catches. He traces a warm, wet line of kisses along the curve of my neck, all the way up towards my ear. Catching the lobe in his teeth, he nips it softly before dragging his tongue along the tender skin, nuzzling against me. Hold on, there's something I want to try. I'm not sure if I can take screenshots here. I don't want to lose this progress, though. Hold on. H. Okay. Looks like Steam saved it.
It wasn't my intention to treat you like this. Not at first. But after we met on the balcony, something about your spite, your stubbornness, sent me tumbling into infatuation. You just keep refusing to be caught, and I adore it. Each time you slip away will make it so much sweeter when I finally capture you and make you mine.
Then why don't you just take me? His low purr rumbles promisingly in my ear, and my heart starts to pound harder with each word. Sounds so earnest, so longing. But surely those words are empty. Isn't he just telling me what he thinks I want to hear? Oh dear Lord, I don't know what to do, what to think. Absolutely. Sorry, I just went wild there. Improv.
And why exactly do you believe you'll be able to make me yours? I'm not the sort to play around, Franz.
My voice comes out soft and slightly uncertain. I can only pray to the gods that no one decides to walk down the hallway at this moment or is listening from behind the door. I think I'd die of shame. Franz presses his lips almost ravenously to one of my flushed cheeks, bringing our mouths steadily closer together.
Oh, I don't intend to play around, kitten. I plan on keeping you all to myself. And you're a jealous little thing, aren't you? I'll nurture that until you're as possessive of me as I am of you.
Wait, the way it just goes into your ears when he says it in headphones. He does know. How does he know I'm jealous? It's not my fault I'm unused to being toyed with. He's playing so unfairly.
Sounds like a healthy relationship. Are you going to put a collar on me too?
You're already wanting to be my little pet, are you? That can be arranged. I had no idea you were into such naughty things.
Ears are dead. I am alive. Ooh. Oh shoot. I clicked something. Oh shoot. Oh wait. It's good. We're all Gucci. I think we're safe. I think it's still recording. Sorry, I got lost in my windows. Before I can so much as mutter out a retort, Franz uses his grip on my hair to abruptly press my head forward, smashing our lips together in a hungry kiss, hard enough almost to hurt. The climax of a passion net built up that makes me tremble in a little in his arms. The resistance leaves me and I press back against Franz a little bit, parting my lips to let his tongue press into my mouth and dance with my own. His heady taste and scent, one of mingled sweetness and spices, floods my senses and makes me feel a little dazed. He presses his thigh in between my legs, entwining us together as he greedily claims my lips with long, wet kisses hot enough to make my whole body feel like practically on fire. Oh my god, calm down. A delicious euphoria courses down my spine into my hips, and an embarrassingly heated sound leaves my mouth when Franz breaks off the kiss to bury his face against my neck, biting at the soft flesh. I know full well that I'll leave a bruise, but I can hardly say that that's at the front of my mind. He lavishes my jaw, cheeks, and lips with several more kisses, leaving wet marks on my skin before finally pulling back a little bit, voice still lowered in a silky growl.
I'm taking you tomorrow night to the masquerade ball. You're going to feel like a princess by the time the night's over.
No, you're gonna stop here? No, don't stop here. Franz offers me a warm, predatory smirk, his eyes gazing into mine as if I'm the only thing of any consequence in his world at the moment.
You're awful. A princess doesn't go rolling around in the sheets with her bodyguard. You'll have to try harder.
He chuckles softly, his fingers releasing their grip on my hair and tracing down the back of my neck slowly and longingly. Damn it! He stopped there. At last, he gradually loosens his embrace and steps back, still watching me with that intense and unwavering look on his face.
Just you wait. I'll have you begging for me at the end of a few dances, kitten. Until then.
Franz reaches out towards the door to his room, casting a lingering glance back towards me.
I'll see you in the morning. Make sure you dream of me, although my balcony door's unlocked, should you wake up in the middle of the night, wanting the real thing.
Depends, are you shirtless? At your bed? Yeah.
Don't flatter yourself.
I shake my head at him, huffing before unlocking my own door and quickly pushing inside before he changes his mind and attacks me again. Slamming the door shut behind me, I let out a long, heavy exhale, resisting the urge to give in to my still shaky legs and slump down to the floor. I can't believe that just happened. Or more precisely, that I let it happen so easily. There have been only a few people I felt anything for in the past, but I didn't think it was possible to get swept up by someone so quickly. And the more I learn about Franz, the more mysterious he becomes. I still don't know how he's familiar with my father, or why he visited me on the first night and was so intent on protecting me. But I can't deny the warmth I feel from being in his arms, and the rush of excitement that his attentions, however salacious that may be, give me. Think I've gone from a self-respecting young man to gushing like a dazzled maiden in the span of a few days. Well, all I can say is that I'm quite glad that my parents didn't accompany me to this affair. After I catch my breath and recover my sense of composure, I undress and slip into the bed, this time properly diving under the covers. There can't be that many hours left until morning, but I might as well catch a last bit of sleep before tomorrow. I'll probably need it since there's still work to be done. I'm not out of the woods yet. The second murderer is still on the loose. As my eyes close, I feel the lingering warmth of Franz's lips on my skin, shivering slightly and shaking my head at to rid it of improper thoughts. It takes a little while of restless tossing and turning, but eventually the haze of slumber settles back over me, and I drift off into unconsciousness. And that ends today's episode. Sorry guys, but there was a lot happened, and that was amazing, and I'm happy. I'm very happy. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll just save here. I'll continue this at another date. Hopefully soon. If you want more, make sure to leave a like. Let's get to 1,000 likes for this. Hopefully. Can we even do that? Please, guys? Please? Pretty, please? Please? Look, I really want people to be active in this channel, and one of the only ways I can find that is through likes. Views are 50-50 because you guys skip a lot. Let's be honest here. Real talk aside, thank you guys so much for joining me. Your support is as appreciated. I'd like to thank my $1 patrons. Earlier in the video, I also thanked my $5 and $10 patrons, but I'll shout them out here as well. Again, thank you guys so much. I love you all. Bye for now.